Welcome back for video game news. This is Wednesday, June the 15th, or 16th, whatever. Anyways, a special E3 edition. Normally, I'd be going to work right now, but I'm on vacation all week, so with that said, taking advantage to get some stuff worked for my YouTube channel. But with that said, first up, we start with Saturday. Now, this isn't going to be everything, just the main stuff, for the most part. So with that said, Saturday, June the 12th, Ubisoft. Few specific things. First, we have, of course, Rainbow Six Extinction, or whatever you want to call it. Uh, Personally, don't care about any of the Rainbow Six games. Never really have since PS1 era. Since the original classic Rainbow Six. Also, we have games like Riders Republic. Don't really feel anything one way or the other over the game. Then we go to World War Z Aftermath. Don't really care because never played the first game, nor did I ever watch the movie. Then you have Shadow Warriors 3 was announced. I've never played the Shadow Warrior games, so I don't really have an opinion one way or the other on the game. Same thing for Traffic Jams, PSVR. Also, you have Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. Also, announcement for Honor Year 5 Season 2. Don't really care, never got into For Honor. I tried it, but I couldn't get into the game. Something just didn't click. Then probably the biggest thing was showing a lot more gameplay and some story and stuff for Far Cry 6. Now, personally, I've never really played much of the Far Cry games. I've played some of Far Cry 3, and that's about it. So that's about to the extent my knowledge comes when it comes to Far Cry, is Far Cry 3. So with that said, also a game announcement called Martha is Dead. Tale of the White Lady. Okay, Martha. First thing I think of is Batman v Superman as soon as I see the name Martha. Because the meme that became. Then we go to Saturday, the first major day, June the 13th. We got a first look, of course, probably the biggest press conference being, of course, Bethesda / Microsoft. We got a first look at just a cinematic trailer of Starfield and the announcement that it's going to apparently be an Xbox exclusive, which is interesting. I'll admit Starfield has me intrigued, but when it comes to Bethesda, they're really hit and miss for me. And then we got some gameplay and sort of a look of Stalker 3, or Stalker 2. Looks interesting, but I never played Stalker 1 since that was a PC only release. I would like if Stalker 1 would get a console release. Then we got more look at Back 4 Blood. Don't really have a feeling one way or the other just because I'm frankly just completely burnt out on zombie apocalypse games now. I'm just it's overdone. Way too saturated market. Just let the zombie apocalypse stuff die out already. I'm just sick of it. I used to love zombie stuff, but there's been way too much for the past decade. The 2010s really overdid it for me when it comes to zombie stuff. But with that said, then we go to Sea of Thieves, a reveal trailer which really caught my attention. Revealed that there's going to be a special big update for a single player, I guess, story, which makes me happy, even though in the past I reviewed Sea of Thieves, the basic game. I was not too terribly impressed, but that's because I'm not a big MMO guy myself. I prefer games where I can enjoy a game with a single player narrative. That's why I can at least enjoy games like Destiny. Because at least Destiny has an okay single player story. I give it points for that, as well as Destiny 2. I actually don't mind the single player stuff. Same as Halo. I just never been big on multiplayer stuff for the most part, outside of the original Titanfall. It's about the only multiplayer like shooter I ever actually enjoyed. But in general, MMO type games, never been the biggest fan of. But good for people who enjoy it. But I will admit, it caught me off guard seeing Captain Jack Sparrow and a special crossover with characters from the Pirates of the Caribbean series crossing over with Sea of Thieves. I admit it makes, but I'm hoping maybe this means that we're gonna get the return of Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow for at least one more Pirates of the Caribbean movie would make me happy, because as of late, I've not been very happy with Disney. But with that said, on to Battlefield 2042 announced there will be no single player, of course, material or anything. It's going to be all just multiplayer. So, I was already not a big fan of the Battlefield series, but after that, I'm like, man, screw Battlefield 2042. I have no interest then to ever try the game out. If it doesn't have single player content, I'm not going to even look at it or bat an eye. So, Battlefield 2042 already lost me. It was already, I was like, eh. The only Battlefield I've genuinely ever liked was probably Battlefield 1, and that's it. Just like I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty, with the exception of, I admit, I liked Infinite Warfare just because it had a really good single player campaign. And that's it. I will never play strictly online multiplayer stuff. Period. I won't. It's not my cup of tea. Never has been, never will be. I've always been about single player content. But with that said, we got a little bit more look at, of course, the indie game 12 Minutes, which I am actually very curious about this game. Being I'm somebody who has become rather obsessed over time with the indie scene. Also, we got more look at the Elder Scrolls Online. Oh, I'll admit, I like some of the art style and direction they've gone with some of the gameplay stuff for Elder Scrolls Online just because it reminds me of the only online game back when I used to actually play PC on occasion. There was only one MMO I ever played I genuinely enjoyed. And surprisingly, this gave me flashbacks of that game. And that was EverQuest. Was the only MMO online I ever actually genuinely enjoyed. I'll be honest. Or Evercrack, as some people called it. Then we gotta look at like a local multiplayer game called Party Animals. I don't really care one way or the other. Again, it's a game that does not have my cup of tea, but I can see a lot of people actually interested in the game, having fun with multiple people working together, and also it's a very family-friendly looking game, so I can see a lot of parents buying it for their younger kids as well. Also, you have Hades was announced that was being added to other stuff such as Xbox One and PS4 and stuff. I'm like, that's fine by me. I really like Hades. It's a great, in my opinion, it's pretty much about, I would say it's at the top for me of roguelike games. It's a game that deserves a lot more love than it's gone. Also, announcements on some stuff. Halo Infinite. Of course, we got more looks at the story and stuff of Halo Infinite. Don't care about, of course, again, the multiplayer. But at least it's free for anybody that's interested in it. But as for me, not interested. Diablo 2 Resurrected looks pretty awesome, I will say. Never got the chance to play the original PC release. I will definitely be checking out Diablo 2 Resurrected when it gets the multi-platform release. I will definitely be checking it out. Also, we got a new sequel to A Plague Tale of Innocence called A Plague Tale Requiem, which I'm very curious because I loved the first A Plague Tale game. Also, a game called Slime Rancher 2. Don't really care about one way or the other, but it looks like, again, a game that's more targeted towards younger gamers. Um, Also, you have Shredders, the first snowboarding game I've seen in quite some time. And boy, has it been a long time since I've actually played a snowboarding game. Years, in fact. Then you have an intriguing looking game called Atomic Heart, which actually does intrigue me a little bit. Then we got expansion stuff for the MMO game or multiplayer online game called Grounded, called the Shroom of Doom. Okay, looks fun enough. Then you have Among Us, a 14-player mode with three imposters and stuff. Good for people who like the game, but again, I don't really care. But I can see a lot of people getting it because Among Us has become very popular, though. I don't care about what's popular and what's not popular. Never have. But for people who enjoy that kind of stuff, enjoy. Age of Empires 4 glimpses at stuff, and I'll say this is a game that intrigues me because I like strategy games. Games actually require intelligence. Also, The Outer Worlds 2, a funny enough trailer, and Outer Worlds was actually a surprising, enjoyable game. And the fact that it had a lot of single player content. Also, got a first look at Forza Horizon 5, which I will not be able to play, unfortunately, but I've always enjoyed the Forza Horizon series, about the only racing series I genuinely have enjoyed in the past so many years. So, and got a look at an Xbox Mini Fridge, which I admit got me to laugh out loud. Also, some other stuff we got from Square, Babylon's Fall. At first, I was super stoked about it, but then I found out now it's going to be, I guess, an ongoing type of game when it gets released, so I'm now like teetering 50-50 on Babylon's Fall, unfortunately. Life is Strange, don't care. The first game was okay-ish, but I just can't get into those games. They're just not my thing. Legend of Mana. Now that's a game that definitely has my interest because I love classic RPGs and classic Square stuff. Also, Dodgeball Academy. Personally, don't care one way or the other, but if you are interested, all the more power. Uh, Orcs Must Die. Interesting enough looking game. It looks like I may or may not be interested in it. We'll see. Then we have Far Changing Tides, which looks actually somewhat interesting. Then we have Soul Stance, which looks okay. Then we have an announcement for Final Fantasy mobile ports, which I could care less about because I pretty much don't play mobile. I don't. Outside of Final Fantasy 3, that's it. And that was the remake DS game. With that said, also we got stuff on a Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. The presentation went too long, have been stuck to just the trailer. I've been really curious, but as went on, showing actual gameplay and everything, I'll admit it lost my interest pretty quickly. When you show something way too much at the very start, you'll lose my interest completely. And unfortunately, Guardians of the Galaxy game lost my interest. Besides, I could care less about the Avengers game, and I hope it dies out. It's already almost dead anyways, just like Anthem. Then you have Nier Reincarnation for mobile, which again, don't care about mobile. We gotta look at Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, which is basically an interesting take on Final Fantasy 1, main, of course, villain, which, based on the trailer, is being voiced by Christopher R. Sabat of course, Piccolo, and, of course, also Vegeta. So, that's awesome. Always is. But it's the same voice as used in the Dissidia games for the same character. And always talking about chaos. And gameplay-wise, everyone is saying like Dark Souls or some. I could see where you're coming from, but personally, I think it reminds me more of gameplay from a less well-known Capcom game from the 2000s called Chaos Legion. Especially with how much they talked about chaos and stuff. But the gameplay also a lot reminded me of Chaos Legion. Um, but that is easily the game that stole the show for me of Square. Unfortunately, Square was a real downer. Also got, which I may talk about in the future, a huge announcement from Limited Run Games. The announcement of 30 games being in development from Limited Run, which really caught my peak. Um, Also, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus is been announced for consoles, which I'm definitely already pre-ordered. I think pre-orders are still available on BestBuy.com, but the regular website is. I'm not sure about GameStop.com, but I recommend going Best Buy pre-order. It's being released, doing a special edition release besides digital. The physical special release is going to be for PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. I'm just happy it's finally coming to consoles. It's being released on June the 30th, so we're just about 2 weeks away. Also, Monster Hunter Stories 2 story trailer got released. Looks awesome. Monster Hunter Rise update looks great as well. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles looks interesting, though I never played any of the Ace or Phoenix Wright games. Also, then finally for yesterday, we got stuff like Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania Collection, which for some Super Monkey Ball fans, good for you. Never played the games, though I admit actually looks interesting, gameplay wise. WarioWare announced new game coming, which I admit I'm actually really curious about because I always liked the character of Wario. Actually, um, Super Mario Party Superstars don't care. Never really got into the Super Mario Party since that's a multiplayer game. It's more a couch multiplayer, but still, it requires multiple other people to really enjoy the game, and I just don't do that. It's not my cup of tea. I don't play party games for the most part. Got looks of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now that really got my curiosity. The Shin Megami Tensei series is superb. Also, got an interesting announcement: remastered classic GBA games with Advance Wars 1 and 2. That's something else that has my interest. Then we got a special collection of some stuff and announcement of a being released digitally on all platforms. Fatal Frame 5 Maiden of Blackwater, which immediately stole the show for me. The announcement that I can finally enjoy Fatal Frame 5. Finally. Because otherwise you have to play it on the Wii U. Also, Breath of the Wild 2 teaser stuff. Got the announcement for like a special Game & Watch Zelda edition, which awesome. Comes out in November. New Metroid game called Dread. Looks pretty cool. Kazuya Mishima joins Smash Ultimate. That is probably the biggest thing for most people. I'll admit, that's actually a DLC character I might actually be interested in other than Sephiroth in picking up eventually. So with that said, it is kind of awesome. Terry from Fatal Fury, also King of Fighters, as well as Street Fighters Ryu and Ken, and now, of course, Kazuya Mishima for the Tekken series. So with that said, that is E3 edition. Probably the main takeaways for me personally of announcements. The biggest things for me is the Final Fantasy Origins, also the Doki Doki Literature Club, Monster Hunter Stories 2. Uh, Actually, also, I would say, of course, Kazuya being released. I would say also for me personally, Shin Megami Tensei 5 and probably Metroid Dread are definitely at the top for me of games most intrigued me. But with that said, leave a comment. Tell me what your thoughts are. Stay safe, and I'll see y'all next time. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.